هوبا. اوكي. جاهزين؟ نادين لما
bla bla bla, bla 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 bla. Ja mislim da će oni već uskoro počet. A oni tu već čekaju ko da... Ja nisam navijač ovog sporta.
وانا باصص كده انا هحكي لك اسمع خارجي الثالث واعمل فيلم واجيلك يعني دايما في خطوات شباب شوت لا شوت شباب نص خالد امين نص يدخلوا في النص يلا خلاص يلا شباب موفقين وحلوين ما تسيبهاش اتحرك بس يعني ما تستغرقش حالك في الجري اتحرك بس في المربع بتاع نص الملعب ده بس قدام خطوتين ورا خطوتين يمين خطوتين شمال خطوتين بس حتى لو الراجل بتاعك هيمشي ساعتها يرحل معاك يعني لو الراجل هيعمل روتيشن ما ترجعش انت راجع عليه خلي شوطه رقم 20 لا كل مره لعبه انت قول خلوش يفضل يرجع مع الراجل ان شاء الله نجيب رقم 20 ما هو ده انت هيفضل معاه لو اتحرك الثاني هينزل مكانه قول امين ما لا هذا يوم مترجم ما تخليش امين يفضل
شباب اللعيبه اللي ورا سعيد
امين خليك كده شوف اروح ارجع سعيد عادي في كرتون عطيه اللي جيت طلعت قدام خليك المكان يرجع
معاكم حارس ورا صياد عشان تعرفوا شوفوا كلمهم قطعوا له الفاتح عند نايف
حتى لو ما ردوا عليك
حتى لو ما ردوا عليك
بس اول ما تسوي شيء ما تسوي امين اوتوماتيك تنزل اول ما يعملوا بريس عليه شويه سووا اي شيء
هنا بمكان ملعبنا هم جايين علينا لاعبك يروح قدام لا توقف شكله تخلينا لا قرب عنده لا تعطيه مجال يلف عليه عشان يلعب خليك مر المدافعين مر احيانا يكونون بعيد المهاجمين نايف احيانا يكونون بعيد انت مهاجم وسعيد عنده مهاجم غيروا انت لا تركن ورا لا تغير خلكم ثابتين ايوه قول له جايك بهالشكل دفاع منطقه خلهم يغيرون يتعبون انتم دفاع منطقه انت ناطره لين يجي
عزوز في كوره ورا عمر عدنا
الشباب اللي برا الشباب اللي موجودين على الاحتياط الكل جاهز لو اول دقيقه الكل جاهز
شباب اللي عنده عضله ما سخنها الحين اللي عنده ستريتش سوي ستريتش شباب تحرك 3 دقائق خلي يلعب يطلع
دقيقتين وندش شباب. يلا ها. اذا ما جبنا جول لجي علينا جول ندافع. هم يبون يوقفون ورا، احنا نوقف ورا من صالحنا. فايزين احنا مباراه.
هو اللي مضغوط يا رجال.
هو اللي مضغوط. هو مهزوم. هو مهزوم. هو مضغوط اكثر منكم. نريح ونروح عليهم ورهقوهم. لا احد يخزن مجهوده. ابيك تبذل مجهود لان عندنا ناس اللي برا نفس اللي داخل. لا ابذل مجهود. تعبهم ما عندهم احتياط الا اثنين. العجوز رقم 9 اللي يلعبهم احنا ندافع في منطقتنا وهذا رقم 9 اللي يلعبهم. انت تروح عند رقم 9. ايوه طلع برا اللعب. هو رقم 9 اللي يلعبهم.
يا جماعه 9 20 11 هم دول الخطوط، هم دول كويسين. عند امين 20 امين هتطلع منه كتير. بيروح بيعدي ناحيه اليمين، عايز كل كوره عايز يعدي، مش بيعمل بس مره واحده 20. هتقطع انا بقول لك ان شاء الله تطلع منه وتطلع بالكوره. سايب اللي يروح يمين. 90% بيروح يمين. زي كده يروح يمين. خالد احنا الحين على مين ولا حاجه. احنا وانت واقفين 3 على 2 3 على 1 طق على البعيده جول. خلاص؟
The afternoon session of day 3 of the Soccer World Cup in Muscat, Oman kicks off with Group A action as Qatar take on the United States of America. A group which also contains Italy and Canada. We've had more games in this pool than any other, and it's set to continue very shortly. But first, the national anthems of the United States and Qatar. 40 of the world's best at six-a-side are here on the Arabian Peninsula in the city of Muscat, the capital of Oman, to stake their claims to becoming world champions, a title currently held by Kazakhstan, but dreams of going all the way, dreams of glory for both Qatar and the United States. Host nation Oman also in Group A. As for today's teams, the United States, based out of Texas, this small squad of players. America had their first game yesterday, as for Qatar. They were 3-0 victors over Canada. Canada themselves handsomely beaten this morning by Italy, 5-1. Well, that's the picture. Beautiful mountains of Muscat surrounding the stadium, and we are up and around 27 degrees Celsius. So touching 90 to 100 Fahrenheit if you are of American persuasion. Temperatures the Qataris will be more than used to, of course, fellow Gulf nation to the hosts Oman, who are also in this group, as I mentioned, the United States, with blistering summers, but it is winter time here in Oman. Well, this group was the first group that kicked off the evening session of the first day of the tournament after a wonderful opening ceremony. Oman in action in front of a home crowd. The United States had to wait for their first game of the competition coming yesterday, and now match day 2 against the Qataris. Good afternoon everyone, wherever you're watching from. Thanks for joining us, whether that be on the International Soccer Federation YouTube channel or indeed on the official app, which is the best way to keep up to date with all of the scores, all of the goals and all of the action from here in Muscat. Almost ready to get underway. And a good afternoon also to Dan Shaw. What a day we've had so far, some amazing games. This tournament's shaping up to be special.
Yeah, good afternoon to you, Noel. A little bit cooler today as well, which is nice, and certainly I'm sure the players out there will be thankful for it. And yeah, we've had some great games. The best of them today, of course, was the Colombia game. Just fantastic watch against Iran. 4-4 that one finished, and it was a proper game of soccer football. Had everything. Well, we 1-0, 2-1, 2-2, 3-2, 3-3, 4-3, and it just went every which way. It was open, it was frantic, it was frenetic, and it was everything that soccer's about, really. That's why the game was invented almost, that game.
Yeah, if you've never experienced six-a-side soccer before, then welcome to the World Cup. As I mentioned, 40 nations have descended upon Muscat to attempt to be crowned world champions. Kazakhstan, the defending champions, after winning the 2023 edition of the tournament in Germany. There are 2 halves of 20 minutes each, and as you just witnessed there, goalkeepers coming out of their area is permitted, taking shots is permitted.
Yeah, well, that's Diego Diaz, and he did that a few times for the States yesterday. He likes to venture forward just to try and give the United States that extra man, but if he doesn't get closed down and they don't draw the player out, then he shoots. He had 3 shots yesterday from around about the same area as that one, and they landed in around about the same place as that shot did as well, and I think he got told after 3, enough's enough, and started passing a bit more. But you might see a couple more of those from Diego Diaz. He obviously fancies himself from the shot, so perhaps we'll see a keeper be the first one on the score sheet in the World Cup. It does happen.
America on the move then. Excellent challenge from Qatar, won back by the United States. This game a little scruffy and scrappy in the centre of the pitch. And those dark red shirts of Qatar can now try and put some pressure on the United States. Yeah, thankfully first game of the afternoon session, so plenty of footballs still in and around the vicinity of the stadium. And Diego Diaz with the first shot of the game. Qatar forcing him into the first save of the game as well.
It was a nice little feint, wasn't it? Just draw it onto his left foot. Didn't quite get as much power behind it, I don't think, as he'd have liked. He didn't strike it quite as cleanly as perhaps he could have done, but it was a lovely little turn from right to left to giving this South the shooting opportunity. And here will come that States keeper again.
Once again, it's a long ball forward. Well, that's 2 of the 3, and we've only played 3 minutes. So he's got 1 left in the tank off the basis of yesterday's evidence.
That's right, yeah. I think you're right. I think that one was a pass, actually, but it was way too heavy.
Good forward pressure there from the United States. Qatar and Saeed Ulam put under a bit of pressure by Mario Ramirez. Well, Italy with 5 goals earlier this afternoon against the Canadians. Good chance for Qatar. Good start for Qatar. 3.5 minutes in. And it's the opening goal of this Group A contest. Goes the way of Ahmed Abdurrahman. And America on the back foot early, 1-0.
Well, that's exactly what Qatar would have wanted, and as it stands, it puts them on their way to 2 wins in 2. A little bit scruffy at the back from America, not very well defended. And the keeper committed.
Early effort, sorry to cut across you. There's another strike at the other end. It's how soccer happens. It's so fast and so relentless, end-to-end stuff. But yeah, Qatar will be very happy with that start.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they've beaten Canada already. So to move on to 6 points from 2 games, they're right in the box seat for qualification, aren't they?
Yeah, both of the Gulf states in this group. Host nation Oman also with 6 points from 6 available. Each group is constructed of 5 teams. And only 2 of those will progress to the knockout stages, which starts with the last 16. Those 40 teams will be whittled down very quickly. And things like goal difference will become an important factor. So Ahmed Abdurrahman's goal, the difference between the 2 sides as we approach the 5-minute mark here in Group A of the World Cup 2024. Lopez. The United States over halfway to Hidalgo. Nice work. Good save.
Well, it opened up for him, didn't it? No, he had a lot of opportunity there, probably to do better with it, in truth. If he'd have opened his body up a little bit more, gone for that bottom right corner. Well, it was something of nothing, but Qatari's almost split apart and just paved the way to goal.
Yeah, Ahmed Saeed forced into the first Qatari save of significance. They are in the lead at the moment through Ahmed Abdurrahman. Shifted out to that right side, and that's where they found their joy in grabbing that first goal of the game. Well, it's probably fortunate for these 2 teams that there was a break between the morning and afternoon sessions here in Muscat. And the reason for that is because of the temperatures. It's simply too hot to play in the midday sunshine, and just to give the referees and spectators a bit of a breather as well from that relentless beating sun. But they'll be quite pleased, these 2, that they didn't have to follow immediately after. And it is the next game after, technically, Colombia versus Iran. But what a blockbuster that game was. So these 2 sides, perhaps fortunate that they aren't compared to what was probably the game of the tournament so far in terms of drama. Here are the United States trying to fashion themselves an opportunity. Mario Ramirez and David Lopez, the 2 involved.
Finding a little bit of joy in that area, on the outside of the penalty area. It's a fairly open game at the moment.
Syed claims, decides throwing is the way to go. Turned over for the United States. Cifuentes. Well, it's a whistle that does eventually go for a foul. I think there was keenness to play advantage there. We have seen the referees play some good advantages actually Had a good conversation with them earlier this afternoon. Good tussle down that far side. It's a tussle which goes the United States' way. They've won the free kick. And just off the basis of what the referees were saying, Dan, sometimes it's difficult to get a perspective on how much work they have to do. Given away by America. Good chance for Qatar. Well, for all his good work in finishing off the opening goal, Ahmed Abdurrahman perhaps maybe did a bit too much there.
Yeah, a few too many touches now, wasn't there? Cut in and out several times there. Just needed to shift it onto one foot and get the shot away. Got himself in a bit of a mess in the end.
He's getting some joy on this near side, isn't he, Abdurrahman?
Yeah, well, it has been an open game so far.
Now America's chance to try and find a response. El Amin steps in, comes away with it for Qatar. Of course, the hosts of the 11-a-side Men's Football World Cup. And in the lead here against the States. Not by one, but by two. And guess who it is? Ahmed Abdurrahman. A brace for the number 8 of Qatar. And the United States in a perilous position in Group A and with work to do.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's hard to see from the replay here, but United States throw too many men forward and then are completely outnumbered on what isn't really a rapid counter-attack. And they've just got to be more disciplined in their shape, United States, for America, for me. Made it too easy, a couple of passes, and you get round them and through them. Too much room in front of goal, too much sight of goal. And the USA aren't blessed with real top stars of soccer.
They've only got 10 players on their roster, and the maximum is 15, and many teams in this tournament have made use of the full 15 members of the squad. The United States don't have that luxury.
Right, and that's why, for me now, the right approach is to be more disciplined, try and be more difficult to beat, and instead they just play too open.
Yeah, well, they were difficult to beat yesterday. Oman 1-0 victors, but the Americans have already shipped 2 inside 10 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like that for them yesterday. They were a lot more disciplined. They were lacking a bit of quality in the final third yesterday, but they did have a bit of shape and discipline about them, and maybe they look up at Qatar and feel that that's a game that they think they can win, and perhaps they feel it's one they have to win now, and that's why they've gone on the front foot, perhaps. But if you leave yourselves exposed and you lose possession, then you're in trouble at the other end.
Now, speaking of discipline, Magallanes fouled by Qatar, and so a set piece on the edge of the box in a promising position for the USA team. 3 bodies in the Qatari wall looking to block this goalward attempt. There are some white and red shirts lurking in there. Off the crossbar and down. Absolutely thunderous effort. And the crossbar saving Qatar from their lead being halved.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame, really, for the States, because that would have made a real game of it. Better, though, more encouraging for the States. Finding that way to goal yesterday was difficult for them. Obviously still yet to register, so goal would do wonders for their confidence.
They very nearly found their first goal of the tournament, as you say. Bounced down off the crossbar, but not over the line, so close, but no cigar, as the saying goes. And although Qatar have that 2-goal lead over the USA, there is still plenty of time. Not just in this first half, but these games, of course, are 40 minutes long. And we've seen things change so quickly, not just in general in soccer, but today alone. Good defending from those in white.
Yeah, look how quickly the Qataris get back behind the ball there. They know they lose possession, get back behind it. That's a little lesson for the States to take from Qatar there.
Interesting as well, we've spoken about the Middle Eastern sides in this competition. Oman, Qatar, Iran, of course, earlier today. And the way that they conserve their energy. And particularly in the games that are played in the morning session here in Muscat, pace is a little bit more pedestrian, conserving their energy and using those reserves at the right time, whereas Qatar seem a little bit more energetic.
Absolutely, yeah, they really do. They've got around this pitch quite quickly, haven't they? Put a big shift in so far. Good thing, of course, for them is that they've taken a 2-goal lead for it, so it's been worthwhile.
Well, it's not exactly a long journey home for Qatar if they do end up eliminated in the group stages of this tournament. Just a short hop from here in Muscat back to Doha, but for the United States, a long plane journey for these young men. They won't want to go home just yet, but they are at risk of being eliminated, although that won't be confirmed if they lose this one this afternoon here in the Middle East, but it certainly will put them in a very negative position as far as the group standings are concerned. Gilead for the United States. This is Serrano. Fizzed into the feet of Cifuentes, who couldn't trap it, and now Qatar can come away with it. Just communication maybe from Qatar is point of concern amongst their ranks. Just want a little bit more of it, I think. Wonder how Oman will be feeling as well, with Qatar winning this game. If it does stay that way, Oman against Qatar, not only a Middle Eastern derby as such, but also an opportunity to stake top spot in the group and arguably get yourself an easier last 16 draw. So that will be a really interesting watch. And nearly snuck in again at the far post there, didn't they, Qatar? But America survive, and up the other end, a free kick to the United States team. Cifuentes. Well, it certainly had the dip and the swerve on it, but the goalkeeper, Saeed, was behind it. Juan Magallanes for the United States of America. Luis Cifuentes. Nudged forward by Gilead into the feet of David Lopez. Well, he was probably the most influential performer for the United States in their game yesterday, David Lopez. Haven't seen much of him at all, actually, in this first half against Qatar. I feel that the United States maybe need to get Lopez into the game a little bit more. They'll have to wait before they do so, though, Dan, because they've got a free kick to defend.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Lopez was probably United States' best player yesterday. I mentioned it a few times yesterday, just missing that little sprinkling of stardust, the United States. And I think Lopez looks the best option. Qatar, slightly better goal difference in Italy, so another 3 points would be great for them.
Laid off to the edge of the area. Comes to nothing. America with Magallanes high and wide on the left side, but on the right it's Ricardo Serrano. Serrano into the feet of Magallanes, and here's Cifuentes working hard. Lopez, and that's where you want him, in and around the edge of the box. Probably would have preferred to strike goalwards with his right foot, but it was a left-footed swipe that he had, and that's a little bit better from the USA. Well, a third for Qatar before half-time will be a real stinger for America.
Yeah, you don't want to see a third go in as a neutral now, to be honest, because I think if it does, then that might just be the conclusion of the game, really.
Hamrouche loses out to Cifuentes. What can America make of this? The answer is not much. And here's Hamrouche once more, bringing it under his control and bringing no choice but for the referees to blow for a foul. See a couple of American alterations as well. Making his way back on Mario Ramirez. And we'll just wait for that second United States substitution. Rolling subs in the Soccer World Cup 2024. On off as much as you please, and those are the decisions that Luis de Anda there, you saw him, the American coach, will have to make. Squad rotation so important, as we said, particularly when the Americans have so few amongst their ranks.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, they've got to have to use their changes very wisely. It's been a tough old slog for the USA. Not just today, but last night as well. Does make the Canada-USA game look interesting, though.
And the Qatar-Oman game, if Qatar win.
Of course.
I'll tell you what will pep up the Americans. Goal before half-time. We're into the final minute of the first period.
That's it. Well, goals change games.
Driven across the penalty area. Goalkeeper for Qatar wasn't too sure. Ahmed Said in the black jersey for the Qatari team. Lifted up towards Hamrouche. Good touch, and it's just about managing the rest of this first half now, of which there isn't long left. If you are of Qatari persuasion. I think that's something we've discussed as well, which is the difference between the quality you show on the pitch and the mental side of these small-sided soccer matches, which is controlling where the ball goes and at what times, slowing the pace of the game down when required, speeding it up when required, making substitutions when required. But Qatar have so far done what has been required of them, and that is eke themselves into a lead against the United States of America, who have shown flashes, the USA team, but not nearly enough to have any sort of foothold in this game. Brace from Ahmed Abdurrahman means that at half-time, Dan, Qatar lead the USA by 2-0.
Yeah, and deservedly so, I think, Niall. I mean, Qatar have knocked it about a bit nicer, created a couple more clear-cut chances. And like I said earlier, the USA have been just a little bit too slack in getting back behind the ball and doing their defensive duties. Qatar seem to lose the ball, and you know, the first thought in their head is to get men back behind the ball. So I think a bit more discipline from Qatar, and you know, they'll be absolutely ecstatic, won't they, the Qataris? They're looking at 2 games, 6 points, and you know, up there with Oman on the same, leaving USA, Italy, and Canada behind.
13 fouls in that first half as well, but this is how it all got underway. The first of Qatar's 2 goals. Well, it was a nice piece of control, actually, as it was.
I like this little spin there.
Yeah, very impressive, isn't it? Tucked into the empty net. Should be scoring chances like that. Enazi with the spin, and Enazi spun himself there. Needed his goalkeeper to bail him out. This is how Qatar doubled their lead. Another tidy finish from Abdurrahman.
Yeah, and he's looked okay, hasn't he? No, if you're getting up in the penalty area and you're finding yourself in space and you're finishing your chances, you're doing your job.
Yeah, touched it out of his feet nicely. And then here's how close the United States came. Powerful effort. And
that one was unlucky, wasn't it? That first free kick.
And the second one, good intentions, but not the execution. Well, words spoken in both camps at half-time here in the Sultanate of Oman. Weather still very warm indeed, but the Turkey team seem to be enjoying it in the stands behind one of the goals. Of course, Turkey set to be playing against Haiti after this game, but the suggestions are that the Haiti team may not have made it to Oman after all, and so Turkey could potentially be awarded a default victory, but they still have to turn up themselves. Make sure you're out there on the pitch at kickoff time at the very least.
Well, I have to say now, I absolutely love soccer, but that rule's got to change. I just don't think it's necessary. Poor Turkey having to turn up to an empty stadium, get your kit on. Doesn't quite seem right. But them's the rules, as they say.
Yeah, that's a Group E clash. We've also got an exciting friendly game on the way as well, as France will play Greece at 5 p.m. And France's side containing former professional 11-a-side players. Djibril Cissé, a former Liverpool centre-forward in the Premier League in England, and played for the French national team in major 11-a-side tournaments, is here playing a major 6-a-side tournament. Well, we're almost ready to get back underway for the second half. Shuffling a few of those counters around. I wonder what the tactics will be from either side in the second half. We'll find out soon enough. Qatar with a 2-goal lead, 2 goals just 5 minutes apart and inside the first 10 of this Group A fixture. Abdurrahman with both of the efforts for the Middle Eastern nation, and they're looking to make that 2-goal lead 3. No troubling Diego Diaz. Be frustrating for the United States because difficult to think of too many saves that Diego Diaz has had to make, yet they find themselves 2 goals behind.
Yeah, true. He's not had a whole host of saves to make. He's probably had 2 to make.
Qatar looking for that third, and a combination of white and black shirts there for the USA. Magallanes and then Diaz both snuffing out that Qatari opportunity.
Well, Diaz is going to be very important now. The United States have got to score the next one, though. There's no doubt about that.
Well, these turnovers and breakaways, particularly from set pieces, will be absolutely critical. What have they got here? Well, it was a bit of a scuffed effort, wasn't it, from America's Mario Ramirez as he broke through the centre, but he's won a corner, and that will do.
Yeah, that's it. And although the finish wasn't all there, I like the fact that Ramirez just kept going. You know, it would have been tempting to stop there, but he just kept on piling through. Oh, dear.
That's possibly the worst corner I've seen in this tournament. And thankfully, the blushes are spared because there will be a set piece because of an infringement. I'm not sure what happened there.
I think he went to take it and then maybe decided he wasn't going to take it because someone had moved or he changed his mind. And he's
still kicked it anyway.
Trailing leg just, yeah.
Good chance, good save. Well, that would have really lifted American spirits had that gone in just 2 minutes into the second half. We said that we needed to see him a little bit more in the first period, David Lopez. And there he was, but he was denied by the goalkeeper.
Yeah, could have done with hitting the back of the net there. And as I say, America, they need that next goal. It's so crucial.
Oh, that's a beautiful crossfield pass. Well, it deserved that slide rule finish from Khalid Al-Hamar. Excellent cutting ball through the heart of the pitch, wasn't it?
It was a lovely ball. And again, that's why it's if that goes in, it's game over for me now. The third goal will kill it off completely for the States.
Yeah, America will probably need to take risks at some point. That's how this small-sided soccer works. Need to try and gamble, but when you do it, I think is the key. There's still plenty of time left yet for the USA, especially if they grab the next goal, as you referenced.
Yeah, score the next one, and the game is very much alive again, isn't it? And then, of course, States have found their first goal. The towers are up, they've got the momentum, and then anything can happen. So, but that third goal would, for me, just kill them off, and so it's crucial now that the States find a way through.
Well, Qatar still yet to play Oman and Italy. Just wonder whether Italy might have sent a few warning messages with that 5-1 victory over the Canadians. I don't think we've seen the best of Canada in this tournament, which is a shame for them. I think they felt that they created enough opportunities in their opening game, but I think they were thoroughly outclassed by the Italians earlier today. So a free kick to Qatar. Mario Ramirez. Is in there defending it, and Lopez can come away with it for America. Down the line he goes. Did that go over the line out of play? Yes.
Yeah, not quite good enough, unfortunately. But again, I like the intent. You know, it would have been easy just to put his foot on it, turn. Instead of that, he's tried to drive to the byline. He's tried to make something happen. They know that they need a little bit extra, the States, and they've given it their all. You can't deny that. At the moment, it's just not quite been good enough. But again, they will just live in hope that they can get the next one. Get the next one, everything can change.
Hamrouche battling with Cifuentes. The American still has possession. Hamrouche wins it back, but collected once more by the United States. America in with an opportunity. Crossed in by Lopez. Smashed out of the stadium. And on comes Ahmed Abdurrahman, the goal scorer for Qatar. His first action will be to defend this. Set piece is so important. Lifted towards the back of the area. Very good cutout there.
Really good.
And it might be beneficial, profitable, perfect. Abdurrahman on a hat-trick. Well saved by Diego Diaz. Excellent defending. Turned into a promising attack.
Yeah, it was excellent defending. You're right. To be fair, he picked him out really nicely. It was a good ball, but it was just excellently defended.
More defending to do here at the other end this time. And United States do their duties. Ramirez fancies his chances. Just always swerving away from the target.
Yeah, I wasn't ever troubling the keeper really, that one, was it? Been a little bit better in the second half though, America.
Yeah, I'd agree. Well, between sessions, morning and evening here in Muscat, we had freshly painted technical areas. And unless the lights are made of brick, I don't think the coaches are ever going to stay in their technical areas. Doesn't matter what you try and do, they're always going to be overzealous and come out of those boxes.
I think you're right. I think the fact they've always had a game each without one makes it difficult to then revert back.
Serrano. Effort deflected. Can't win it back. Two players go in for a challenge. Free kick given Qatar's way. Abdurrahman. Hat-trick. Hat-trick for Abdurrahman. And 3 on the board for Qatar. And might that be the dagger through the heart of the United States here in Group A at the Soccer World Cup in Oman?
Well, Abdurrahman take him out. Hat-trick. And as I said earlier on, though, they get the next one, they kill the game. And Abdurrahman rounds off a very happy afternoon. A little pop shot stabbed into the bottom corner.
Yeah, I'm not sure Gilead gets close enough, tight enough to him to close him down, gives him the room to shoot. And they paid the price, didn't they, the USA? 12 minutes left of the second half. Well, both North American sides, the USA and Canada, of course, already having received consecutive defeats. Foul on Lopez.
Yeah, starting to look now as though it's going to be 3 teams for the 2 spots, isn't it?
Yeah, we'll start to see that whittled down, won't we, these group stages. Start to get a clearer picture after a couple of games as who the contenders are. Gilead's effort is blocked away, and Qatar looking to cut loose themselves, and America need to be careful that this doesn't turn into a rout. Crossfield ball to Abdurrahman, can't make it stick to him. Smashed away by the USA. Just wonder what this scoreline and arguably this result, if Qatar do go on to win, as we're expecting with the way things are at 3-0, what sort of message this sends out about the Qatari side. Not one of the teams fancied to go all the way.
Well, yeah, I mean, Qatar can only beat what's in front of them.
And at the moment, that's America.
And what they've had in front of them so far haven't been good enough opposition. And Qatar have done their job. Now, we'll find out a lot more, won't we, I think, when the other games come into play for Qatar and play some opposition that a little bit more experience and possibly a little bit more quality.
Yeah, I just wonder if a bit of underestimation has gone on, not necessarily from the United States in this game, but just generally towards the Middle Eastern nation. People might see Qatar on the fixtures list, or even in the last 16 if they squeeze through, and think, you know, we'd fancy our chances against them, but it's not too dissimilar conditions-wise to what they expect in their home country. And that can be a dangerous thing. Underestimating your opponents, particularly in a game of soccer, can humble you quickly. America thought they might have been in with a shout there of breaking through with Lopez. Whistle went before he could.
A little bit soft for me, that one. Which is a shame again for the States because they've been away. Actually thought that one in the centre was
Inazi, Abdulrahman.
Yeah, I thought that one in the centre there was more of a foul than the one that was given.
It's up here with Lopez, thrown up towards the American centre forward, can't be taken in his stride by Hidalgo. And easily scooped up by the goalkeeper, Ahmed Syed.
Not disappointed Lopez because the touchdown was brilliant. Stabbed it into the area quickly. It was like he did all the hard work and the easy bit was missed for him.
Just watching Ahmed Abdurrahman's movement off the ball for Qatar. Very involved. So he seems to know where the spaces are and where to run. Here he is offering an option again, but that is sensational. Had it crept into the far corner, which it looked like it was doing all the way, it would have been a real special goal, the best of the game. And it strikes the inside of the post and flies away. So close to a Qatari fourth.
Yeah, it was a great little finish, actually. Just opened himself up and guided into the far side. But he was making the point about Abdurrahman and his awareness and his runs. And it was actually that run that created the space for him to find the shot off to the far side. Change in the American goal. There might end up being a change in the Qatari goal as well here because the keeper's gone down. Looks like he's struggling a little bit. But Qatar firmly in control. I mean, still 7 minutes left to go, and the rest. And you just struggle to see a way back for the USA. It has been a better second half. They've looked more organised. They've moved it a bit quicker. Found the spaces better. But ultimately, at the end of it, they just haven't quite found that bit of extra quality in the final third, in that penalty area. And you can't help but feel for the USA as well. You know, when 3/4 of the way into the second game, the longest of journeys to get here, and they haven't yet tasted a goal in this World Cup. You're almost willing it for the States, just to get them off the mark and just breed some confidence in them. And Qatar do make that change in the goal. The keeper comes on with no gloves. Does happen from time to time, and his first kick is a bit of a mess.
Well, Ahmed Khalin is the man wearing number 1 on his back in the black jersey for Qatar. And America have decided to chuck Serrano in net, and the reason that they've done that is exactly for this, to offer a bit more of an option going forward as they chase the game.
Yeah, it also takes away the rush keeper rules. Slightly different rules for the two. But it means that if they do lose possession, they've got a keeper who's in and around the goal mouth with a set of gloves on, who has the ability to dive and catch and save.
Well, maybe that's a tactic that could have been deployed a bit more often. Because rush goalkeeper work, didn't it? Wonders for Kazakhstan yesterday, the defending world champions, when they tried to find a way back into the game against Uruguay, and eventually the South American team did pick up the victory. But it's a tactic which can be used to great effect, particularly in chasing a game late on and the team is sitting in defensively. Gives you a great chance with that extra body. Speaking of great chances, what can America make of this? Well, nothing is the answer to that question. Might they get burned up the other end?
Yeah, a little wasteful, wasn't it, in the end, that? Looked as though it was a good opportunity. Once again, failed to find a way to go.
Well, Hamid Lababi getting in, speaking to from the official on the far side. And there are 4 changes being prepared. 4 changes being prepared for the Qatar team. Abdurrahman. Oh, my word. My word. Forget the Muscat Oman World Cup. It's the Abdurrahman World Cup at the moment. He's made this game all about him and all about Qatar. All 4 goals have come from his boots. And that is that. If it wasn't already, what a way to put a cherry on top. He smashed that in to the top corner as well. It's 4 for Qatar, and America left hurting again.
Well, you can't stop those now. That was an absolute missile, wasn't it? Wonderful build-up as well from Qatar as well. Nice fluid movement, nice fluid passing. And Abdurrahman, who, as you mentioned earlier, just seems to find the space, seems to be able to make the runs that count. And when he gets the ball there, he just seems to have acres of room. And the finish was quite magnificent.
Do America have one in the tank? Not with efforts like that from Gordon Gilliatt. Just 2.5 minutes to play. And Qatar cruising to victory in Group A. It's a result which means that their clash with Oman will be fascinating, if not tense. And goal difference now, it's all about that for both of these teams, really. If America are going to have any hope, which looks a distance away for them now of qualification, then defeats need to be slender if you're going to have any at all in the group stages. But Abdul Rahman, fantastic performance from him and from Qatar. Ramirez. Well, he's hurt himself in the challenge there, Ramirez. I think just maybe twisted his ankle slightly whilst jumping in for the challenge.
Yeah, I think you're right there now. Just looked to roll it a little bit. Looked uneasy. Bit of a grimace as he stepped away and then made his way down to ground. And I think that might be his final action. He needs to get the ice on that one.
Not anyone tuned in earlier to the morning session, either on the International Soccer Federation app or on the official YouTube channel, would have known that in the Iran-Colombia game we were quizzing why a tray of ice was being carried to the Iranian dugout. And the reason for that has finally been confirmed. And that was because of an injury to one of the Iranian players who wanted to play on and stick a bag of ice up his jersey to ease the pain. And so someone in the Iranian camp duly obliged. Qatar looking for a fourth. Well, the whistle's gone and the referee significantly unhappy. Qatar, their breakaway halted due to a decision which awarded the United States a free kick. Well, that will be that. And a big win for Qatar against the United States. Forget Qatar 4, United States 0. It was Ahmed Abdurrahman 4, United States 0. All 4 goals coming from him. And a convincing win in Group A, a statement win for the Qataris. They'll feel confident heading into their games against Oman in particular, which looks like a top of the table clash. Because at full time, they've smashed America. Abdurrahman with 4, Qatar with 4. Full time in Group A, Qatar 4, United States of America 0.
I'm with Hamed Al-Hababi from Qatar, fresh off of a 4-0 victory against the United States. Hamed, there's 2 games played in the group, 2 wins. You must be very happy indeed.
First of all, we are so happy. We won 2 games and we still have 2 games. We are going step by step. And I want to thank everyone, the manager, the coach, the players, for working hard before the cup and during the cup. And inshallah, everything will be okay when we are in the final.
When you're in the final, I love that. Well, I love the fact that you've got that belief, and it must be growing all the time now. 2 wins out of 2. And when you look at it, this group's going to be a little bit tricky because you've got yourselves. Oman already have 2 wins from 2. Italy creeping up as well, and Italy to play. So that's a big game.
We are thinking now about Italy. We are playing with them after tomorrow. So they have 1 win. We have 2 wins. So it will be a difficult game. Everyone will fight in the field. So inshallah, will be okay.
When you looked at this game, United States, how important did you think it would be for goal difference? How many did you think you had to get those goals in case it does boil down to the fact that goal difference is going to send second place through, perhaps?
We played against Canada, but the most important game, it was this game. And the coach, he told us, we tried to score, but we cannot receive any goals. So we did what he said. That's it.
And you've got the job done. And what about the guy up front, the number 8 for you? 4 goals. How good was he today?
Yeah, he's happy, and he's not scoring only for him. He's just helping the national team.
Congratulations, well done.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, man. There you go, Qatar, 4-0 winners, 2 games played, 6 points collected, and they and Oman have both got complete clean sweeps. Italy have won 1 from 2, but for now it's Oman and Qatar who are in the top 2 of the group.
Well, day 3 of the Soccer World